Welcome everybody, parents and students, to ninth grade Honors Science. We call it Honors Earth with Physical Science, and your particular section of Honors Earth with Physical Science is also a beta section. What that means is every student in that classroom will have access to, or will be given, a wireless device, a personal wireless device. It's a tablet, it's an iPad mini. Now, I wanted to send this video to you guys because open house is very short. There's not a whole lot of time to talk about a lot of things, and I have a lot of information that I need to get to you guys. So I wanted to be very upfront with you guys to give you that information so that we can use open house to answer any questions, go into anything a little bit more deeply if we need to. So this video is going to go through kind of the nuts and bolts of ninth grade Earth Science. Now, just a little bit about myself. My name is Mr. Chrisman. If it's easier for you, just call me Mr. C. I've been married to my wonderful wife for 4 years now. I met my wife while we were both at school at UW-Madison. I was working on a Bachelor of Science in Geology and Geophysics. So I've never really grown out of the I love dinosaurs stage of my life, and that's kind of why I went to school for Geology and Geophysics. I then moved, after I graduated, I decided that teaching was up my alley, so I got my master's degree in teaching from Minnesota State Mankato. And I love both the schools. If kind of down the road you're thinking about either one of those schools, come and talk to me. But my summer was spent a lot with this little guy right here. This is my son. His name is Brooks. He just turned 1 year old this past summer. It was just wonderful to spend that much time with him. The school year gets kind of crazy. Just kind of watch him grow up, do all sorts of new things, and just be a goofy little person like he is. Now, a few ways to get a hold of me, and this is for parents and students. One of the best ways is email. Just email joseph.chrisman@apps.district196.org. I will get that email. I check my email a lot, especially during the school year. It's connected to my phone. So email is always good. You can call the school. I probably won't be able to talk if it's during school hours, but before or after, perfectly okay. Otherwise, just leave a message. I'll call you back after school, and we can figure out what needs to happen. Students and maybe parents might want to follow me on Twitter. It's @ChristmanSCI. I use Twitter more as kind of a way to communicate what's happening. Just give weekly reminders, homework and quiz, test reminders, things to study, things not to study, that kind of a thing. And there's always really cool science news on Twitter as well. Now, parents, if you really need to see me, I'm always open to meetings, like before or after school. You can come to my room and we can sit and talk about whatever needs to be discussed. Students, I think this is an important a skill to have, is to be able to ask for help, get help, know where to get help, and my door is always open. I get to school pretty early and I stay later, so you can always come in before or after school if you need help with anything. Now, the class is Honors Earth with Physical Science, and that with is really important because we do a lot more than just rocks and stuff like that. In fact, we don't really do a whole lot with rocks at all. We start the year out right here with systems and cycles. Some of those systems are review, some of them are brand spanking new. And then we move into probably the highlight of the entire trimester, first trimester, which is the Vermillion River study. We go on a field trip to Farmington where students are going to measure a bunch of different things about the river. And I mean, just as you can see, we have chemistry, we have physics with Newton's laws, we have engineering. So for those builder kind of people, that's right up your alley. And then students always love the astronomy section because we talk about crazy cool things. So it's a lot. I mean, we're not stuck in one particular place for too long, which I think is a good thing. Parents, I really need you guys to put some dates on a calendar, whether it's on your phone or on paper, whatever the case might be, because these are our field trip dates. Fourth hour is going to go on September 30th, and you will be going periods 1 through 4. Okay, so you will miss your first, second, and third hour class, whereas fifth hour, you are going to be going periods 5, 6, and 7, and you're going to be going on September 29th. Okay. Now, students need to understand that all the other teachers in the building know when the river field trips are. So they are going to expect all students to be proactive, go talk to their teachers ahead of time to figure out what they're going to be missing, get that material so that the day they come back after missing for the field trip, they're still on pace. They're not behind, they're still on pace. So that is kind of going to be one of your first tests of being responsible, is to be going to talk to your teachers about what you're going to miss because of our field trip. Now, the Vermillion River is an amazing opportunity. It's a lot of fun. Students always remember it. We go to the Vermillion River for kind of two reasons. One is to have students experience collecting data, analyzing that data, using background information to understand the data, and then come up with some sort of product at the end. But what I think is a little bit more important is the opportunity to see that the science that you do is actually helping our environment. All of the data that we collect is then given to the Vermillion River Monitoring Project. It's an organization that monitors the health of that particular river. And they use that data. They've been using our data for the past decade or more. So I think that's a wonderful opportunity. Parents, if you want to see what this is all about, you are more than welcome to come. The more volunteers, chaperones, the better. You can email me if you're just super excited after hearing about it. Email me, tell me you're ready to go, and I'll put you on the list. Otherwise, if you need some time to think about it, I will have a sign-up sheet at Open House for you guys as well. Parents, please do not schedule appointments during that particular week. So the 29th or the 30th. That whole week, and probably the week before, because we're going to be spending a lot of time in class getting ready, prepared to go to the river. So if they miss getting ready, they're going to fall behind. If they miss the actual field trip, they have to do something different, which is not as fun for them. So please, any type of appointment, schedule at another time. Now, beta class, I want to spend some time talking about what it means to be in a beta class, what to expect. One of the benefits of having that personal device with you wherever you go, whether it's in school or at home, is that you have access to so much information. And that's a wonderful thing. I mean, myself as a teacher, I don't know everything about every little aspect of science. So if we can use the device as a tool to gain that extra information, dive deeper into something, it's enhancing the learning opportunity. The way that this particular beta class is set up, it's constant collaboration. You will always be in some sort of team working on some sort of task to help other people learn science. And collaboration is a skill that you will need throughout the rest of your high school career, into college especially, and then every single career job, you have to work with other people. So the more practice you have, the better it will be. The beta class is extremely creative. It allows you to express your understanding of content in many, many different ways. You'll see once we get going with it. You'll learn how to research more effectively. So the first one and then the research aspect kind of go together, because you have access to all this information, but what is good information and what is bad information? I'm going to teach you how to research effectively. We're going to make a lot of our goal. One of my goals is to make a lot more connections outside of Rosemont High School, since again, not only do we have access to resources, but we have access to other people. Last year, I had students have conversations with people from NASA. Pretty much every single Big Ten university, I had students contact professors and have conversations with them. So it's just a great tool to learn more. One of my goals is to make a difference, not just here at Rosemont High School, but maybe across the district or across the state. And it's really practice for the future. As you move throughout high school and college and then into your work field, the way that this class is set up, there's a lot of skills besides the science that you're learning that are going to help you. I've set up a beta classroom website. It's actually, I don't do a whole lot on it. I have a calendar there for everybody to see, so that people can kind of keep track of what we're doing that week, what homework we have. But that website also has every single handout that I would normally give to students. It's all in digital format. So all homework assignments, direction sheets, reading articles, all of that stuff is on that website, accessible to your students all the time. Last year, we had students create resources to help students study. All of those resources for every single unit are on this classroom website. And this year, students will be adding to that website. They're going to be taking different things that they create based on what they learn and putting it on this website as well. We will be using Google Classroom extensively. This is the biggest place where students will be handing in their work, because our work is going to be, a lot of it is going to be done on our device, because the device allows us to be so creative and innovative with our learning. So you will be turning in your assignments into Google Classroom. I will also post online resources there for students to use as well. So Google Classroom is a great resource to use. We have a classroom blog. And students will be blogging every single week, multiple times per week. They will be in their learning communities, where one person is in charge of blogging, kind of the discussion leader for the week, while all the other members of the learning community will be responding to what the discussion leader is suggesting. What I really like about the classroom blog is that it's accessible and can be read by anyone who has the link. So I will be linking the classroom blog to the email that I'm going to be sending this video in. I'm going to be linking the classroom website to the video as well. So parents, you can actually see your student talking about science, what they understand, what they're having problems with. It's just really cool that we can have this conversation outside of class that others can also add to. Now, since we have this device, there's probably going to be instances where the internet is going to be a problem, the internet goes down, whatever the case might be. I always have hard copies of things that students are going to need. I'm very flexible when it comes to dates of when things are due. I usually give a lot of time for students to work on things. But one thing I want to make very clear is I don't want not having internet access to become the dog ate my homework excuse. I want students to have the ability and the skill to say, hey, I need to be proactive, my internet's not working, how can I get in contact with Mr. Chrisman so that we can figure something else out for this particular assignment, or how can I get the resources that I need to get. There are computer labs in the IMC. They're open before or after school. That is a great resource. But I think parents and students need to be aware that they need to talk to me beforehand, be a little bit more proactive about specific issues that come up. Every single earth science teacher is asking for a $10 donation. And I want to be very clear that it is a donation. It's not a lab fee. It's not something that's required. And the money that is given to the earth science department is used to help maintain our lab resources. Since our class is so broad, so many different topics to cover, the lab equipment is going to be very different. You know, the lab equipment for our chemistry unit can't be used for our physics unit. So we have to buy both sets of equipment, and that donation really helps keep our labs the best that they possibly can be. And you can give $10, you can give more than $10, you can give less. Whatever you give, I extremely appreciate. And if you can't give anything, I completely understand. And you can give that donation using FeePay. Now, this is an honors level class, so it's going to be hard. I don't want to sugarcoat it at all, especially if students are taking more than one honors level class. It's a big jump. It's a big adjustment. I understand the adjustment. I see it every single year. Students don't really understand how much more work it's going to be to get all of the homework done, study for all of the tests in order to do well on those tests. So students might struggle for the first month or two of school, but they kind of get into a groove, they start to understand and mature a little bit, and after that they do very well. But students that do well out of the get-go understand they need to be organized. They understand that they need to kind of carve out homework time for every single one of their classes, and I would say 20 to 40 minutes for science every single night is normal. There might be some nights or some weeks where you need more than 40 minutes. There might be some nights where you have less than 20 minutes worth of homework. It just kind of depends on what's going on. Students that also succeed right away, they realize when they're having difficulty, and they take the necessary steps to get out of that difficulty, to figure out, hey, I don't understand this, I need to see Mr. Chrisman, so that we can figure everything out. Students also go to review sessions before big unit tests. I have them every single time. The day before, the morning of. They're very helpful. Past students always say the review sessions are very good. So, if you take those steps and you realize you need to take those steps, the transition to honors is going to be a little bit easier. Now, because our curriculum is so different, it's not the same thing. There might be some topics that are a lot easier for you because you like them and you excel at them. And then in the very next topic, you might not like it, you might struggle with it, and that's just kind of the way it is, and that's perfectly okay. You just need to be able to understand that's how things work and figure out how things are going to work for you. We're going to be working on a lot of different skills. I talked a little bit about them, but things to kind of get you ready for college are reading comprehension and writing skills. Those are assessed on the ACT, so we'll be working on those. Inquiry-based projects. Colleges really want students that are able to have those inquiry skills. We work a lot with data interpretation, so taking a look at a set of data, understanding it, and then answering questions about it. That's also on the ACT. And then the collaboration, which I talked about before. And every single Wednesday after school, we're going to have one of the science teachers in room N20 for like a help session, kind of a drop-in, hey, I don't understand this, or I really don't understand this whole entire thing. You can come for 10 minutes, you can come for an hour, whatever you need. And then finally, just homework for the first week. I'm going to hand out a syllabus, a couple of contracts. All that need to be signed by students and parents, returned by Friday. We have online textbooks. And since you're in an honors level class, you have 2 textbooks. They're online. You can have access to them day and night. But I would highly suggest getting a hard copy of a textbook. Take it home with you. Leave it at home. So, just in case something happens with the computer or the internet, whatever it is, you still have that resource. If you do take a textbook, they need to be covered by Friday. So I know that was a lot of information. Watch the video again. Write down questions you guys might have. Come with those questions or things you want to discuss at open house. I really look forward to meeting everybody at open house and starting the year off on a good note.